Okay, so it looks like everyone has joined. So let's get started. So good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the country right now. But welcome so much to our Getting Started with Qtrade Direct Investing webinar. My name is Emily Caster, and I'm the Senior Communications Manager here. And we are just thrilled to have you join us today. So we have a great agenda planned for this event. Wonderful. All right, if we could just transition to the agenda slide. So we have a great agenda planned today. My wonderful colleague, Brent Greaves, is here to share more about what an online brokerage does, how to get started with investing, and give us a demonstration of what the Qtrade platform has to offer. So to ensure that we have enough time to cover all of this great material, we put together today's agenda without a break. But if you need to step away at any point, please feel free to do so. We're recording today's session and we will be sending it out in email after the event. So before we get started, I just wanted to tell you all a little bit about Qtrade. We are one of Canada's most awarded online brokerages, winning dozens of awards over the past 20 years. And we are also backed by the strength of Aviso, which is one of the country's largest wealth management companies, focused on powering businesses that empower investors. So I'm just going to run through a few housekeeping items and then we'll kick off the webinar. So during the webinar, your camera and mic will be automatically turned off, but we do want to hear from you. So please ask questions or share comments using the Q&A feature. We also will have time at the end of the session, so Brent and I can answer any questions that you might have. And any that we don't get to today because we've run out of time or we just are unable to answer them, we will follow up with an email after the event. And if you're having any issues like a frozen screen, try exiting the meeting and joining it back again. That usually does the trick. And finally, your feedback is really important to us. A survey will appear on your screen after we end the webinar, so please take a minute to fill it out. Again, that will also be in that email we'll send afterwards if you don't get a chance. So before we get started, I did just want to provide a quick disclaimer about this. So this material is intended for informational and educational purposes, and it's not intended to provide any specific advice about, without limitation, investment, financial, tax, or similar matters. Okay, so before we dive into the platform, I just wanted to do a quick poll question. We want to know, how much have you explored the Qtrade platform so far? So that question is going to pop up there and just take a couple seconds and fill that out. So we'll give people just a second or two. All right, so let's close that poll now. We have people who have responded. Awesome. Okay, so this is great. We have some people who have logged in at least once or logged in a few times. So you have some familiarity with the platform, but Brent is actually going to take us through a live demo later on. So let's get right into it with our presenter. So please welcome Brent Greaves, our Director of Product Management here at Qtrade. And so I'll hand things over to you, Brent.
Great. Thanks, Emily, and thanks everyone for joining us today. As Emily mentioned, the goal of today's webinar is to help you get to know the Qtrade platform and what it has to offer, so that you have the information you need to start investing with Qtrade. We'll cover what you can trade and how to trade, but first, we'll provide you with information on how to fund your Qtrade account. Funding is generally the first step to start using your Qtrade account, and Qtrade offers several convenient funding options. The quickest and easiest way to fund your account is instant deposit through Interact. This funding option allows near instant deposit of your funds, allowing you to take advantage of potential moving markets sooner. Just keep in mind, it does have a limit of up to 10,000, depending on your financial institution, so keep that in mind when you're deciding on which method to use. Our next option is bill payments. If you want to trade quickly and beyond the $10,000 Interact limits, bill payments always a good option. You can trade as soon as you see the money in your Qtrade account. To fund your account through bill payments, you'll need to initiate your request from your bank or credit union through online or branch banking. Through online banking, you can search for and set up Qtrade Direct Investing as a payee and enter your Qtrade account number, which you can find under the bill payment option, and then you would just submit your payment similar to paying other bills online. If you need additional guidance, we will have a how-to video, which we'll include in our post-webinar resources. Next up is transfer account. If you already have an investment portfolio or registered funds, such as cash in a TFSA, RRSP, or RESP, and want to transfer them to Qtrade, this is the funding option you'll want to start with. The good news is you can complete your request fully online, including e-signature, meaning there's no need to print or mail any documents. There are a few things to consider. There are different transfer types. For example, there's in-kind, which means you can transfer your assets as is, or there's an option for in-cash, meaning that everything will be sold and the cash transferred to Qtrade. These are the two most common types, where you can transfer a partial or the full amount, or you can also use a mixed transfer, where you can pick and choose on how you'd like to transfer your assets. Just a quick note, processing times will vary for transfers depending on account type and transferring institution. Qtrade will initiate your request immediately. However, in some instances, for example, when transferring a pension plan, where transfers can take up to 10 weeks to complete. Our last option is electronic funds transfer, or EFT for short. We've also called this direct deposit. If you want to set up regular auto deposits, transfer US dollars, or transfer larger amounts, EFT is the best option. To fund your account by EFT, you'll need to complete 2 steps. First, you'll need to link your credit union or bank account to your Qtrade account. Qtrade provides the convenience to digitally link your account through the Qtrade platform. This is the quickest and recommended option. It minimizes processing time and issues that may occur when uploading a void check. Once your accounts are linked, you can initiate your EFT. The funds will appear in your Qtrade account within 1 to 2 business days. However, please note that deposits may be held for up to 10 business days, which is why we recommend Interact e-transfer or bill payments. And just want to remind you that if you did want to set up recurring deposits, you can do so through the Qtrade platform. Now let's briefly review Qtrade's new look transfers and deposit experience. Then we'll cover how to connect your bank account. We've recently revamped our transfer money experience and now offer an easy to understand path to fund your accounts with clear, logical steps to get you where you need to. And there's more help along the way, with links to FAQs and guidance on deposit types. To get to Qtrade's Connect Your Bank Account tool, you'll first have to select Transfer Money, then select Deposit Money, then select Direct Deposit. You'll also notice the option for Interact e-transfer that we touched on earlier. From the Direct Deposit screen, you'll be directed to the electronic funds transfer page, where you can connect your bank account, bank or credit union securely and efficiently through the Qtrade platform. Under the Add New Bank Account, you'll first select Connect to your financial institution. Next, you'll search for and select your financial institution from the list provided. Once you select your financial institution, you'll be directed to enter your username and password for your financial institution. Then select Continue. It may take a few minutes to connect. And then you'll see a list of accounts to connect. Select your preferred account to start the connection. Then you'll be notified when it's complete. With your account connected, you'll then be able to initiate your deposit or funding request. Now that we've covered how to connect and fund your accounts, let's go through the investment options available through Qtrade, or what you can trade, meaning buy or sell through your Qtrade account. Qtrade offers all exchange-traded securities, meaning you have access to stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, and options. Let's start with stocks, also referred to as equities. Stocks allow you to buy shares or ownership in companies listed on the stock exchange. Through Qtrade, you have access to all Canadian and US listed companies. A few examples are Royal Bank and Apple. These are just 2 examples of the thousands of stocks available. Next, we'll cover exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. ETFs allow you to invest in a bundle of stocks or assets that track an index, like the S&P 500, or a sector like financials. Or you may choose to follow a specific theme or strategy. One of the more popular themes lately is artificial intelligence. Through Qtrade, you have access to all ETFs that trade in Canada or the US, and including for those that are interested, ETFs that invest in cryptocurrencies. I also want to mention that Qtrade offers over 140 ETFs that you can buy or sell without being charged a commission, and there's no trade or investment minimum. Next, we have mutual funds. Mutual funds are similar to ETFs. They allow you to invest in a bundle of assets. The difference between the two being that mutual funds do not trade on the exchange and are only valued once per day after the markets are closed. Qtrade provides access to approximately 9,000 funds through 68 different mutual fund companies. And through Qtrade, you have access to low MER or low-cost funds, where the fees are generally lower than if you were to invest through an advisor. And last, for more experienced traders, Qtrade offers options trading. With options, you can trade calls or puts, depending on whether you think a stock price will go up or down, or they can be used to create strategies using one or more call or puts. Options can also be used to generate additional income, which can be done through a covered call strategy. If you're interested and want to learn more about options trading, we recently launched the Qtrade's Option Lab. This exciting new tool provides unique strategies and education tailored to your portfolio, risk, and options trading experience to help you take your trading to the next level. We'll touch on that more later in the webinar. And for those looking for more stable investment options, Qtrade also offers bonds and GICs. Bonds are debt instruments that are issued by companies or governments that pay you a predetermined interest rate. Through Qtrade, you can buy or sell Canadian company or government bonds online through Qtrade's bond trading portal. Or if you want to purchase US bonds, you can do so by contacting Qtrade's trading team. And last, if you're interested in GICs, we're continually adding to our GIC availability. We now offer GICs from 23 different issuers, and you can invest starting with a minimum of $5,000 for 1 to 5 year terms.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Brent. This is so much great information. So we have another poll question for you. Now that Brent has kind of gone through what's available on the platform, we want to know what securities are you most interested in buying through Qtrade? So if everyone wants to take a couple seconds to let us know, these are all the things that Brent just went through with us. So okay, right. Let's see everybody's answers. What are we interested in? Yeah, okay. So I think largely stocks and ETFs are the popular ones, which definitely makes sense. That is kind of the bulk of what we see people buying. So, like Brent said, we have a wide variety of stocks and ETFs available on the platform. Okay. So let's continue. I'll hand it back over to you, Brent.
Great, thanks again, Emily. So now that we know what you're looking to trade, let's talk about the types of orders that you can trade through you can place through Qtrade. Okay, so there are two types of orders that investors should be aware of. The first is a market order. A market order buys or sells shares at the best available price until the order is completed. A market order is best used when trading liquid or high volume stocks when the market is open. You'll need to be careful when placing market orders when the markets are closed, as the price of the stock can change when the market reopens the next trading day. Then there's limits. A limit order sets the price you want to buy or sell a security. So with that, it specifies the price at which you want to try or buy or sell your shares. There is no guarantee that your trade will be completed if the limit is set too low when buying or too high when selling. Qtrade also offers two other order types. Next is a stop order. For a stop order, the buy or sell is triggered when a stock moves above or below a specific price. This is known as the trigger price. Stops are often used as a way to avoid large losses or to lock in profits. And there's trailing stop. This is similar to a stop order, but the advantage here is the trigger price can rise as the stock price increases, meaning that you'll lock in additional gains. It might be hard to see, but you can access the various order types through the order entry type dropdown on Qtrade's order entry page. You might also notice this is where you can trade the other investment types we mentioned previously. We'll include a link to the video showing you how to place a trade online in our post-webinar resources.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Brent. This was all super informative, but now it is time to get to my favorite part of the webinar, where we will exit the presentation and Brent will take us through a live demo of the platform. So I think you are ready to share your screen, Brent, and we'll go into the actual Qtrade platform and do a little bit of exploring.
Right, just give me 1 second and I'll do that. Okay, so hopefully you can all see that.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is the homepage or dashboard of our demo accounts. Let's start off at the top left. Here we have the market value graph, which displays your market value journey over time, where you can select different time periods to visualize your market journey for those periods and related percentage return. Next, we have our portfolio section, which provides you with a snapshot of your accounts. Up to 3 accounts are displayed by default, but you can view additional accounts by selecting the arrow or the carousel to the right here. We've also linked our portfolio score option with the portfolio section here. Just going to click on that.
Okay, so that's so great. So I see that these have kind of C's and D scores. So are these like letter grades in school? So they kind of will go kind of A to F.
That's exactly right, Emily. We'll go a bit further into portfolio score in a moment, but this gives you a good at a glance at your different scores. Just a quick reminder, this is our demo account, so many client accounts are rated with much higher scores. Finishing off the left-hand side of the dashboard, we have our top equity movers, which provides you with an update on your best and worst performing securities for the current trading day. And you may notice there are star ratings, but for select holdings, these are the analyst ratings provided by Morningstar Research and gives you an idea of the quality of your holdings. Now let's move back up to the top and we'll start at the top right of the dashboard here. This is where we have Get a Quote, which is where you can enter the name or symbol of a company you're interested in looking at the current price. For example, we can type in the symbol for Apple and the predictive list will show up here and we can click into that security. We won't do that now, but I do encourage you to explore that option there. Right below, we have the market indices, which offer an overview of how the markets are performing on a given trading day. And then next, we have our quick link section.
So I love the quick link section of the homepage because it gives you some really easy ways to access some of the great features and tools available, and also ones that would be most useful on that day-to-day basis.
Yeah, totally agree. As you can see, we've included links to our watch list and trading. And as Emily mentioned, these are some of our more popular tools.
So let's go back to our portfolio analytics and show everybody that portfolio score that we were talking about earlier, since I know that that is one of our more popular features. And I like how it can give you that feedback on how your portfolio is performing across several different dimensions.
Great idea. So let's click into portfolio score here. I'm just going to click into the all accounts view. So you can do this by account or for all accounts. So just to give you a quick overview, portfolio score is an analytics tool that grades your portfolio across those key dimensions that Emily mentioned. Those would include performance, downside protection, fees, income, diversification, and ESG. As you can see on the graph here on the left, or you can deep dive into each metric through the portal below. This is just a quick preview, but I do encourage you to try out the tool. So I'm just going to go back to the home page.
Yeah, so I know as we kind of learned from the polls at the beginning, some people are kind of new to the platform and they might also be new to investing. So do you have a recommendation for a tool for people who are just getting started?
I do. So we have our goal planning tool. just going to click in here. So the goal planning tool is great for people just getting started with the platform. It helps you figure out your goals and path to work towards them. It also allows you to track your progress toward them in real time. So I've just clicked into the goal planning tool here from the dashboard. And what you see here is first your goal planning dashboard. This is where you can monitor goals that you've previously set up. And creating a new goal is easy. You click on Add Goal, where you'll be presented with a questionnaire to help us learn more about your goal. It's followed by a few more questions. Again, this is just a quick preview, but I do encourage you to set up a goal when you do have time.
Uh, This is so great, Brent. I love this little tour of the platform because it really highlights how robust it is with all the tools and different things available to our Q traders. But outside of these things, can you update your information and get things like tax documents in here as well?
We do. So let me just click back to the dashboard, and then I'll show you how to find our service center. So here we have the service center. It's built right into the platform to help you do all those things. I'll just show you a quick key areas, as Emily mentioned. So under the account profile, on the top left here, that's where you can update your contact information and your account preferences. And to view those statements, your statements, tax documents, and or any other account documents, that's all available here under the e-documents. And you can click on view e-documents or sign up if you haven't done so already. You can also find other features under our additional services. We scroll down here, the print is a little small, but you can see our dividend reinvestment tool. This is where you can view or set up securities that have this investment option.
Oh, yes, I love a drip. That's such a convenient way to reinvest those dividends when you have your portfolio. So thank you so much for this demo of the platform. So let's get back into the presentation. I have a couple more things that I want to go through with you, and then we will get through your questions. So as I mentioned at the beginning, you can use those in the Q&A section of the Zoom platform. So something I'm very excited about is our AI-driven personalized news feed called My News. And so this is a tool that we launched late last year, and it delivers curated content that's tailored to your interests. So it analyzes your activities and preferences and provides you with relevant articles and updates. So you can find it on the dashboard in the navigation menu, and there's just a tab called My News. And so the more you're in the platform and doing things, the more relevant news articles that you will get shown there. And you can even pop out the window to monitor the news all day long without having to be signed in all day. And so, as I mentioned, we're always adding exciting new things to the platform. So this is another recent addition to our toolbox, and it's our Qtrade Options Lab, which we launched in partnership with Trading Central. So the Qtrade Options Lab is a perfect way to learn about, explore, and test out options trading strategies. And you don't even need to have options trading available on your account to use it. All you need to do is pick a stock, answer a few simple questions, and the Options Lab will guide you through option strategies tailored to your goals, experience level, and risk tolerance. And you can find the Options Lab through that quick links menu that we were talking about earlier on the dashboard on the right-hand side. And so finally, I wanted to talk about Qtrade's mobile app, which is available for both Apple and Android phones. So our app has a lot of great features for managing your Qtrade account on the go. You have access to real-time stock and ETF quotes and market data. We have charts across the app, including a new advanced charting tool. We have analyst, buy, sell, and hold ratings and price targets from industry experts. And we also have a really great options trading experience, far more experienced investors or those of you that have options trading as part of your strategy. And those are just a few things. The app offers so much more, so I really encourage you to download it from the app stores and give it a try because it's a great complement to the desktop experience. So I really hope that you got some insights into how to use the platform and the tools that are available to you as a Q trader. And so before we move into answering those questions, so I see we've had a few come in already, I just wanted to take a minute to highlight some other resources that you might find useful. And as we mentioned, we'll include links to all of these in the email that we send after this. So we'll include links to all of these tools, helpful videos, a recording of the webinar, and any FAQs that we don't get to in this. Those will all be included in that email. So in the welcome email that you received when you opened your account, you will have received a link to the Qtrade welcome page. So I highly recommend bookmarking this page so that you can easily come back to it. We've put just a lot of videos and curated content and resources specifically to help you get started with Qtrade. And so if you visit the education section of our website, you'll also find an extensive collection of articles about investing, including strategies, account information, and guides like how to get started with online investing, and also deep dives into registered accounts like the TFSA and RESP. We'll also have a help center that's available 24/7 where you can look at our FAQs and search for answers to any questions that you might have with our answer bot. And so if you're looking to learn more about the markets, we offer weekly and monthly commentaries through our weekly market pulse and monthly Q review to help you make more informed investing decisions. And those are both available on qtrade.ca. And as you saw when we were demoing the platform, you also have a lot of different commentaries available to you there as well from other sources. I also recommend checking out our YouTube channel where you can find video tutorials for things like funding your account, buying and selling securities, and more. And I also encourage you to follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn where we're sharing a lot of fun, bite-sized investing content and tips. Okay, so I think we are ready now to open the floor to questions. So let me open up the Q&A feature and let's get started. So Brent and I will get these together. Okay, so how do I find my account number? So Brent, do you want to touch on that?
I can, yeah, definitely. So there's a few ways you can find it. So when you first log in your Qtrade account, you should see your dashboard, and those portfolios that we talked about will display there. Otherwise, under the accounts menu, you can just click on the portfolios. Maybe what might help if I can quickly show you. So maybe I'll just screen share really quick. Yes. Okay, so there we go. So as mentioned, here are your portfolios through the carousel here, but an easy way to find it as well, you just go under accounts and your account summary. This will list all your accounts that are available through the platform.
Okay, awesome. So how would I transfer funds from a TFSA savings account at my credit union to my Qtrade registered TFSA account?
So that's the transfer account experience that we talked about through the demo. So with transfer accounts, you can put in the request to transfer your TFSA. It'll have you enter your details and potentially upload your account statement from your credit union. Then you can digitally sign the document.
Okay, that's awesome. Is there a way to monitor daily portfolio performance on the dashboard? I only see weekly performance.
Yeah, great question. So we don't have the daily performance on the dashboard itself, but you can view a lot of that through the mobile app. And we also have the portfolio views or performance views, again, available through the accounts menu.
Mhm. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just looking in the chat right now. Yes, the recording will be provided after the webinar. As mentioned, you'll get an email probably within the next week that has the recording, as well as all of the additional resources that we've talked about today. Where do I find the goal planning? So goal planning is actually available in that quick links menu on the right side of the dashboard homepage. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Yes. So if you are looking in your app store, there are two Qtrade apps. So there's the Qtrade Direct Investing app and the Qtrade Guided Portfolios app. So Qtrade Guided Portfolios is a different service that we offer, which is a robo-advising platform, different from Qtrade Direct Investing. So you do want to download the Qtrade Direct Investing app from the App Store. Okay. Brent, do you want to talk a little bit about how the drip works, in lieu of us not having fractional shares available?
Sure. So with the DRIP option or dividend reinvestment plan, our portal allows you to see which securities are available. And if you already have some of the securities that are available in your account, it's just a quick toggle to turn on and submit the request. From that point on, as long as you have enough to buy at least one full share of the security, your dividends will reinvest as they're paid out by the companies. In the event it's less than the amount to purchase one full share, then it will be credited to you in cash.
Mhm. Okay. All right, we have a question here about how to buy GICs on the platform. Do you want to touch on that, Brent? We can also include, there's a FAQ that we'll include in the email following this, but I don't know, Brent, if you want to touch on that as well.
Sure. So we do have a GAC portal. It's available under our trade option. That's the trade order entry that we quickly showed earlier in the webinar. So through that, there's an option for fixed income, which opens up the GIC portal. So it's pretty straightforward. Once you're in there, we show all the issuers, their available rates, and you just click on it to populate the GIC order ticket.
Okay, great. Do you have the ability to create model portfolios on the Qtrade platform?
We don't at this point in time. We do have some of the analyst recommendations that provide portfolio options similar to, or I guess including something known as a tortoise and hare portfolio, or there are ones specific to Canadian and or US markets.
Okay. Um, okay, do we have any demos or resources, or can you give some tips on how to use the screeners that are available on the site?
We do have a few screeners. We've got stock and ETF screeners. They are somewhat straightforward. We don't have any resources, I believe, available in our YouTube store, in our YouTube page yet. But through those screeners, you can filter by your preferred criteria and surface your results.
Okay, that's awesome. There's a lot of great questions coming in. Okay, how do you find REITs on the site?
So yeah, that's a good question, and it dovetails from the screener question. So through the screener, you can look to filter by investment type and or search by specific terms. So that might be a great option there.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we have one. So if I have a direct investing account at a different brokerage, can I liquidate all the assets in that account and use the funds to fund my Qtrade account?
Yeah, you definitely can. So you can either do that, so liquidate and transfer, or you can transfer as is if you don't want to liquidate those securities. So again, that would be part of the transfer account option. That's part of the funding for part of the funding experience.
Mhm. Okay, this one's a good one. Is there a way to find out how to change your investment scores? I assume that means in portfolio score. So, for example, if their diversification score is low, how can they change it? Or is there any way to kind of figure out more deeply in that portfolio score how to make some of those changes to update those scores?
Yeah, great question. So paired with our portfolio score, we have our portfolio simulator tool. So that tool will take your existing portfolio or a portfolio that you create and then allow you to adjust your holdings and weightings and see the impact of those changes on the portfolio. So you can try out different scenarios to see what works and which which will help you raise your raise that portfolio grading.
Mhm. Looks like we have a few questions in the Q&A that are sort of all sort of touching a bit on the My News and how to make that news more tailored. So talking about, more tailored to your stocks, or if you're doing sort of values-based investing, like is there a way to kind of have the news in My News be more aligned to those things? Do you want to talk a little bit about how the My News works and how people can kind of get that sort of algorithm working to really dial in on what they're looking for?
Sure. So right now it's primarily triggered based on your search activity. So as you're searching securities, that is the news will be surfaced. We are exploring iterations to that tool where it would then, to your point, look at portfolios, watch lists to curate the content that you're monitoring.
Okay, great. Can I see transaction records for more than 10 years?
Yes, so we go to account inception. So through the account history, you'll just have to use the custom date option and I guess select a date that would go back to the inception of your portfolio.
Mhm. Okay, great. I think we'll do probably two more questions and then close up. Oh, this one is a good one. So, how do we buy things in US dollars? Do you want to talk a little bit about US dollar accounts?
Sure. So we do offer US dollar currency accounts. So this is where when you buy and sell US stocks, there's no currency conversion. You'll either need to convert currency at the outset from a Canadian account or move a position that potentially trades on both markets into that account first. But then once you're in that account, any transaction will not incur that foreign currency back and forth.
Okay, that's great. If the account was originally created with drip off, can Q traders turn that on themselves, or is that something that they need to call in for?
Yeah, great question as well. So the securities are not automatically set up for drip by default. But if you do go into the dividend reinvestment plan experience there, it's a quick toggle to turn on and then submit. And then going forward, starting at the next dividend record date, your securities will be enrolled.
Okay, that's amazing. So I know there was a few questions that we didn't quite have a chance to get to today. I know there's a few in here around future functionalities or feature requests. Just know, like, please pay attention to the Qtrade newsletter that you guys receive. That will be a great place to figure out, new features as they are announced or available to Q traders. I know we have some exciting things coming up this year, so please watch in the newsletter or also in your inbox on the Qtrade platform. That's where you can find those things. If you're having any sort of specific issues, our customer service team is very helpful. So if you're having sort of specific issues with your account, I definitely recommend calling in and they can assist you. Or, like I had mentioned before, looking into that help center that I talked about. So that has tons and tons of FAQs in there. So you can just sort of just type in your answer and it'll bring up a bunch of relevant information for you for that. Okay, so I think with that, again, I wanted to thank our presenter today, Brent, for joining me, and to all of you for taking the time to attend this event. I really hope that you got a lot of good information about it. As mentioned, we would love your feedback. So once the webinar ends, you'll see an event survey link appear on the screen. So please take a minute to fill that out while it's fresh in your mind. You can also fill out a survey or you can also fill out the survey when we send out that post-event email, which will include a link to the recording, any of the resources that we talked about today, many of the answers for FAQs that we weren't able to get to today, and links to some of the answers of the questions that we talked to as well that might be more helpful with a written FAQ. So, from all of us at Qtrade, thank you so much for attending our webinar. So, again, watch out for that follow-up email. We'll be sharing all of that information and other helpful resources to get you started. Happy investing.